Donald Trump's trip to Asia just got ruined as he learned that Democrats are pulling a move he never expected. Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries will be meeting with the Illinois legislature to talk to them about gerrymandering Illinois' congressional maps in order to counteract Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans' attempt to rig the midterm elections. So that means Democrats are stepping up in California with Prop 50, which could get rid of 5 Republican congressional seats there. I reported this weekend that Democrats found a loophole in Virginia to call a special session because the MAGA Republican governor, Glenn Youngkin, forgot to adjourn a special session from 2024. And if Democrats succeed in doing the gerrymander in Virginia, Democrats can get rid of 3 Republican congressional seats there. Now, Democratic leader Jeffries is going to Illinois, and we also know that Democrats have plans in Maryland to do a gerrymander there. This is all in response to Trump trying to rig the midterms, not to do this in an affirmative way, but to do it to stop Trump's cheating. And Donald Trump is absolutely pissed when he learned about this. From Asia, Donald Trump posted the following: "What's worse, the NBA players cheating at cards and probably much else, or the Democrats cheating on elections? The 2020 presidential election being rigged and stolen is a far bigger scandal. Look what happened to our country when a crooked moron became our president. We now know everything. I hope the DOJ pursues this with as much gusto as befitting the biggest scandal," and he puts that in caps, "in American history!" Exclamation point. If not, it will happen again, including the upcoming midterms. No mail-in or, quote, early voting, yes to voter ID. Watch how totally dishonest the California prop vote is, exclamation point. Millions of ballots being, quote, shipped, end quote. Then he puts this all in caps. Get smart, Republicans, before it is too late, exclamation point. In other words, Donald Trump saying you're not cheating good enough, and Democrats have figured out how to counteract what you're doing. So what Trump's essentially saying right there, I'll just translate for you, is shut down the midterms, send in the DOJ to shut down elections in blue states, and just basically declare me as an emperor or a dictator. That's what Donald Trump is saying. And he's already sending what he's calling voting monitors from the DOJ into California to, I think, interfere with the Prop 50 vote on November 4th. This is what Donald Trump is after. He wants to eliminate the idea of voting altogether and fully take over as an authoritarian. And I like to see that Democrats are finally fighting back. Because if you look at what's happening in this country right now, while Donald Trump's out there in Malaysia doing his grotesque Jeffrey Epstein dance thing that he does, Americans are suffering here. 42 million Americans are about to lose their SNAP benefits, their Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program benefits, and they're about to starve to death. 42 million Americans risk starving to death as Trump is in Asia dancing like a freaking clown as Americans are starving to death here. The food bank lines here are like never before seen in the United States. You know how Donald Trump's like, never seen before how big it is. That's the food bank lines of people who are starving here. Donald Trump promised to make things more affordable. All he's done is make a stupid golden ballroom plan by ripping down the east wing of the White House, unlawfully, I might add, in such a despicable and grotesque way. As Governor Newsom puts it, here's what's going on in America right now. Inflation is up. Beef prices are at an all-time high. Coffee prices are up 20.9%. Electricity bills are up 10% year over year. So with all the MAGAs whining about former President Biden, who was actually bringing inflation down and had to deal with the problems Trump created by adding $8 trillion of debt the first time around. Also, new car prices just eclipsed 50,000 for the first time ever. And healthcare costs are about to be an additional $20,000 or more per household as the Affordable Care Act subsidies are about to expire. People will be getting those notices in the mail November 1st if they haven't already. And all Trump is doing is holding up the photos of his golden ballroom while the food bank lines stretch throughout the country. I mean, just look at some of these food bank lines. As Lisa Desjardins, the reporter from PBS, she writes, massive line of Fed employees this weekend at a food bank in Northern Virginia, and they ran out of food. They only had enough to cover half or maybe even less of the cars that showed up. It took 10 minutes to walk the full line, as Lisa writes, was in a car with a woman who teared up after hearing that they ran out of food. And this is before the SNAP benefits have fully disappeared. And we expect that to happen November 1st because Trump's Department of Agriculture is refusing to go into the emergency funds that it actually has to fund it. They're refusing to do it. They want Americans to starve to death. Here's what happened at the food bank line in Virginia. Here, play this clip.
We are likely going to run out of food before you get to the front of the line. So this is our pantry network. Additional places to access food will be back next week. I'm so sorry.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
And so while that was taking place, here was Donald Trump doing his dance, his Jeffrey Epstein dance in Malaysia. Here, play this clip. And while Donald Trump was whining during his speech in Malaysia, also, why the hell is he in Malaysia? This is the first time in American history that a United States president has abandoned the country during a government shutdown. He refuses to speak with Democrats, and he has ordered the MAGA Republicans do not talk to Democrats, yet alone negotiate with Democrats, have no contact. And everybody who took fifth grade government or watched Schoolhouse Rock knows that the way our country has to operate with the government, the parties are supposed to talk to each other. And when Trump orders the MAGAs don't talk to Democrats while Trump builds his grotesque golden ballroom, that's what happens in our country. Here, watch Donald Trump talking about, in Malaysia, by the way, that he was whining about, the escalators weren't working at the United Nations. And, the teleprompter wasn't working well. Here, play this clip.
I won't forget that day because it was one of the first wars that I got involved in. And I love doing it. It's like, I shouldn't say it's a hobby because it's so much more serious than a hobby, but it's something that I'm good at, and it's something I love to do. The United Nations should be doing this, but they don't do it. They don't do it. They turned off my teleprompter when I made a speech. I had to make a speech without a teleprompter. They're good at that. The escalator wasn't working too well. It came to a complete halt.
And while Americans are starving, Donald Trump lies and claims that he's brought in $20 trillion. He says with the tariffs, he's already brought in 17. He'll be bringing in 20 trillion. All of this is a lie, by the way. He's brought in nothing close to this. We've run the biggest deficits ever right now. The deficit is 7% higher year over year now than under former President Biden. But here's Donald Trump claiming that $20 trillion of investments are in. All of this is a lie. Play this clip.
Critical minerals and other industries, the United States is having its golden age. Last year, we were a country that was doing very poorly under a different semi-leadership. I don't even call it a leadership. But this year we're doing numbers that nobody ever thought it was possible for any country to do. We'll be, at the end of my first year, over $20 trillion worth of investment into the United States. There's no country anywhere that's ever done anything close to that. The United States last year, for the 4 years, it was announced, did less than $1 trillion, and we're going to be doing over 20. That's quite a difference.
And by the way, the areas that are often getting hit the hardest are red states that have voted for Trump. Like here in Clinton, Missouri, CBS Evening News reports that rural food bank lines are some of the biggest throughout the country. Here, play this clip.
If you want to know how big of a problem hunger is in rural America, spend time at a mobile food bank.
It's 90% of what I consume.
74-year-old Lorna Hall made sure to be the first at this line in Clinton, Missouri.
You've been here since last night.
Yeah.
It's that important to get what you need.
Yes. And I don't keep the car running. I can't afford the gas.
I'll take you to a Washington, D.C. food bank line right here. Play this clip.
In Southeast D.C., this food bank line just for federal workers.
You have to have your government ID.
Stretches around the block. Many furloughed federal employees like Anthony Spite now waiting hours for help.
I have children to feed. I have a family to take care of. I have a mortgage to pay. So it's a lot of uncertainty.
Here's another food bank line of federal workers just so you can see for yourself. Play this clip.
Some of them are lining up at food banks like this one in Alexandria, Virginia. This line goes around the block and they pretty much circle around here. You want to follow me? And then they wait and they get one of these boxes delivered into their car. There's only about 300 boxes today, and the concern is that in the future, especially as SNAP benefits expire, more and more people will be showing up to events and they won't be able to get their supplies. We talked to federal workers about how they're feeling about all of this.
It's very emotional right now, seriously, because it's impacting so many people in so many different places, and I don't think the administration truly knows what the country is really going through from a federal employee's perspective. They truly don't. They sit there and say that they do, but they don't, honestly.
I didn't know I'd ever be here, you know. I think like with a federal job, you expect a lot of security, and my family's been working either civilian positions or military positions in the government, and it feels like, you know, that's kind of a job that you can just do and be in a very stable financial place. So having to be in this situation now, it's been very different. It's been a surprise.
And here's another line right here. Play this clip.
Federal funding for food programs like SNAP and WIC in danger of running dry by the end of the month.
To last all the way for the next month, even to cover December, it won't. We will be starving.
Our NBC affiliate in Kansas City breaks down what that assistance looks like for the 41 million Americans who rely on the program.
I'm Megan Abundis grocery shopping in South Kansas City. This cart full of staples, some fresh produce, fresh fruit, some meat and bread represents what the average person on SNAP benefits or food stamps can afford for an entire week. The national average benefit for a breakdown per person per week is about $46 to $74. That's what we've spent here, $48.68 for this cart full of groceries.
How you doing, ma'am? You can choose one item.
With no end to the shutdown in sight, many now preparing for what could be a long road ahead.
What can I do about it? But just keep pushing forward. As they say, push until something happens.
A food bank employee told MSNBC that in her entire life working at food banks, she can never remember where the shelves have been so empty while the demand has been so high. Americans are literally starving to death. Here, play this clip.
I can't remember a time when our shelves have been so empty. I mean, over the last 9 months, we've been seeing prices raise pretty high. And so families are already struggling. So when you take that additional money away, food is going to become scarce. And I think families are also going to have to make difficult choices because if you can't eat it, you can't buy it. So think about hygiene products, toilet paper, all of those things that you're using a limited budget for now. Now you're going to have to split those things with food.
And as California Governor Gavin Newsom said, reflecting on all of this, he goes, Trump is an invasive species. An invasive species. He's here to literally be a wrecking ball and destroy our country and destroy the world, and we must stand up to him. Play this clip.
He's an invasive species.
For California.
For the country. For the world. He's a wrecking ball, not just the symbolism and substance of the East Wing. He's wrecking alliances, truth, trust, tradition, institutions.
Congresswoman Pingree, she explains what's going on with these SNAP benefits. Here, play this clip right here.
The announcement that SNAP benefits would be cut is unconscionable, in my opinion, and I just want to be 100% clear. We are not cutting SNAP because we are shut down. We are cutting SNAP because the administration had decided not to spend the reserves at the USDA in November and to deny people their benefits. So we have the money. We don't have to do any fancy, complicated thing that we can't do during a shutdown. There's $5 billion there in reserves. In case you haven't heard, we had $20 billion to give to Argentina, and we're building a new ballroom on the White House. So we seem to have plenty of money these days. We just have decided not to do that. And that's one of the cruelest things I've ever witnessed happening, because as you heard, there are people who are already getting close to the end of the month and saying, but I've only got $30 left. But what am I going to do? And to put the fear in people while there's a political debate going on in Washington. Again, that's not a topic for today, but I just want to be clear. It is going on right now, and we've got the money to do it. We can absolutely fund SNAP benefits.
Also, while Donald Trump was out there in Malaysia, the Prime Minister of Malaysia was, joking with Donald Trump about going to prison. Here, play this clip.
And to achieve that, you have to break some rules, as you did today. When the President arrived, he asked me to join him in the car. I said, that's against the security and protocol rules. And he was delighted to break the rules, and It was a nice ride. And we share a lot of things in common. I was in prison, but he almost got there. But very good exchanges on a number of issues.
But don't worry, everybody. Donald Trump's Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, says that he's suffering too. He wants everybody to know that actually he's a soybean farmer. Yeah, Bessent's a soybean farmer, everybody. And he suffers like the other soybean farmers. No, you are a landlord in North Dakota, and you collect rent from farmers. That doesn't make you a soybean farmer. You are a private equity, currency trading, almost billionaire who could care less about what 99% of Americans are going through. Here's what he had to say about being a soybean farmer. Play this clip.
The president has also said he does want our farmers to be taken care of. You did mention that China has been boycotting American soybeans, and American farmers have really suffered. Do you see a real light at the end of the tunnel there? They may allow soybeans again?
Well, Martha, in case you don't know it, I'm actually a soybean farmer, so I have felt this pain too. And there are a couple of things happening here. One, the Chinese have substantially dropped their purchases to almost zero, so they unfortunately have been using American farmers who are amongst President Trump's biggest supporters. I think he had more than 90% support. And then this was one of the biggest crops in 20 or 30 years, so it was a perfect storm. But I think we have addressed the farmers' concerns, and I'm not going to get ahead of the president, but I believe when the announcement of the deal with China is made public, that our soybean farmers will feel very good about what's going on, both for this season and the coming seasons for several.
Absolutely ridiculous right there. In any event, we'll keep you posted every step of the way here on the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million and have a wonderful day.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.